Alrighty, a good day to you folks. Welcome to Speed Gaming 3. We bring you our next race in the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Randomizer 2025 Mentor Tournament. It's going to be a good one for you today, folks. We've got M4RKERSM4SK and Ralen Tankir. I'm Captain MD, and today I am joined by Rico. How you doing today?
Hello, everybody.
So, not a lot of... we have a couple of RAs. Thankfully, they're not too complex. It's just beam ammo cost reduced for combos and new patcher.
Hopefully that means we'll be seeing some dark bursts.
Wouldn't mind that for sure. Let me just get my hint sheet up. And our runners are off.
Looks like first item, STK.
Well, certainly they're not going to complain about that. That's one key we don't have to go hunting for later. We should also get our first hint here, which tells us that bombs can be found in Agon.
Well, that's good knowledge to have.
All right, not much to happen here while we're waiting on dealing with the Alpha Splinter fight. So, Rico, are there any particular things you want to see in the seed today?
Ooh, I don't know. It will be hard to beat the last seed that Marker played.
Ooh, sounds spicy.
He lost about 20 to 30 minutes attempting a Seeker skip and still won by a large margin. It was that bad of a seed.
Oh, wow.
And now we're entering the Dark Splinter fight. Believe it or not, in my opinion, this is actually the easier part of this fight.
The second half? Oh, yeah, because the first part you break lock. The Splinter breaks lock when it jumps at you, so you can't dodge.
Yeah, he also leads you. So he will jump where he thinks you're moving to, whereas the Dark Alpha Splinter always jumps to where you are currently standing at that exact moment.
Alright, so Markers takes down Alpha Splinter first, gets a missile tank. Now, it should be noted that though this is the Mentor Tournament, our runners are on their own. They do not have the assistance of another player to help them this time. So they must take the knowledge that they have gained through the course of the Swiss rounds and take what they've learned into these bracket stages.
Now, those missiles aren't logical, as Randomizer does not take into account expansions, but I doubt that will stop them from using it.
For sure.
I didn't get a good look at what was in Taz.
I didn't see it either. It doesn't look particularly bright. It might just be a beam tank.
Ooh, grav boost. That is nice to have. Doesn't do much for logic right now, though.
Yeah, that looked like a dark ammo tank in Temple Assembly Site. A rare to see nothing required in there for sure. Usually it's like something good. But I would say, well, currently our runners don't actually have logical access to Agon, so progression has to be in this elevator.
Yeah, and it would have to be either screw attack, space jump, or the main launcher.
All right, and we have a missile-related upgrade in a Cursed Lake. Nothing we can do with that right now. It could be Seeker missiles, but we'll cross that bridge later.
It can't be Seeker missiles in a Cursed Lake. That door is
right.
Seeker lock. And space jump boots.
All right, well, that's our way into Agon.
Translator and Dark Agon ways.
All right, so we now know that we have a translator and bombs in the Aegon vicinity. Space jump, probably the better of the items to get us up Aegon quickly. To get us up this mining plaza.
Okay, so thinking that this is space jump, so bombs have to be in portal access.
I believe so. What was that?
It looked like a missile to me, but I didn't have the greatest look.
Okay, yeah, it looks to be a missile tank. I thought for a minute it was Seekers, at which point I would have raised a lot of eyebrows, but not the case. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Space Jump doesn't give us anything else, so yeah, our next progression has to be in Portal Access A. We can't access GFMC without Power Bombs or Screw Attack, so yeah. And it was a Beam Tank in Transport B access, so that's not significant for anything. That appears to be a Sky Temple key in Mining Station A, though.
Yep. With Space Jump, that can actually be grabbed as soon as they reload this room.
Indeed.
And there are bombs.
And water is wet. Okay, maybe not necessarily for that case, but that's still, yeah, that's expected. Well, the seed looks pretty linear so far.
There's still a lot of time, and based on who genned this, there's a lot of room left for things to go wrong.
Unfortunately, Markers needs a couple of tries at this after getting bodied by bees. But yeah, what you're going to see Marker do here is hop using the beehive up to the top of this spire, using some angled collision, because if it looks like you can stand on it, you can probably stand on it. And just hop to the top of the spire and jump over to the Sky Temple key. It looks like an intimidating space jump, but as long as you're pointing forward and holding L, you should pretty much make it every time.
Yeah, that trick is not considered a beginner trick, but that's not because of difficulty. That's because it's only possible to do on that specific layer, because the War Wasp Hive only exists before you pick up the item from Bomb Guardian.
Indeed. Furthermore, we're going to see Marker's Mask turn on the Aegon portal now because of not defeating Bomb Guardian. The pirate fight here hasn't triggered yet. So, with Space Jump, nothing a simple slope jump up to the final platform can't fix.
Yeah, the fun thing about this room is that the game only checks to see if the third lens has been lowered to activate the portal, because it assumes you had to lower the other two to get to the third one.
Now, it is actually possible, even without any additional gear besides bombs, to single jump over to the third platform without with only doing the first lens and not the second one. So even if in vanilla, it's possible to still sequence break this with the right equipment. Or with the vanilla standard equipment, I should say. It looks like Marcus is just going to go straight into Dark Aegon now. With no logical missile launcher, this does kind of make sense, because Bomb Guardian's technically not in play yet.
Yeah, there's definitely more checks this direction than going back to Temple Grounds to look for the missile launcher. Because with what they have, the only things that are in logic in Temple Grounds are Communication Center and Taz, and we've already seen Taz.
It does also give us access to Hive Chamber B as well, but
not
actually,
logically.
No. Yeah, because there's no way to get through the gate without Missile Launcher or Charged Annihilator Beam or some other similar weapon.
Yep.
Now, with Space Jump, thankfully getting past dueling range here isn't the biggest pain in the backside. Alright, Marker's intentionally lowering health to get a gold drop out of these blade pods here, and gets missiles refilled.
One of the nice things about Echoes is that the drop system tends to give you what you need. Unlike Prime.
Mm-hmm. That is a suit. All right, well, we're going to need Spider Ball for that. All right, so Jump Guardian is in logic just with Space Jump, but it's just going to take a minute.
And we can see Ralen heading to the same room, but going the opposite way. This route is shorter, but you don't get that peak at junction site on the way.
Yeah, it seems Ralen is preferring like immediate item density rather than peaking, which is not necessarily a bad thing given what we know, and it will be easier on the way out to peak the Dark Suit on the way out of Jump Guardian, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, that being said, it's only a beam tank here in the broom closet, so... Ralen also taking a look at it and electing to pass it, ignoring does not wish to suffer a load for that. I already see chat saying imagine a Morbus guarding the Spider Ball. Alright, so yeah, we're going to see our runners just go ahead and pelt Invisible Jump Guardian here.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the hitbox for Jump Guardian is preloaded into this room where he jumps from during the cutscene. So we could just stand here in relative safety and unload into the boss. This is much safer and faster than doing the fight.
Yeah. Now, Marker, I noticed, did take the energy refill. I think in this case, you're in the protection of the energy field. You could probably ignore that and just focus on just damaging down Jump Guardian. You'll get healed plenty considering you have to do this the slow way. Because in a case like this, it's definitely going to come down to... I feel like it's... with how linear this seed is right now, once the seed explodes a little bit and we finally get some breathing room, then it's really going to come down to routing.
And Ralen didn't do quite enough, but still plenty, and is easily able to take out Jump Guardian.
I think it's all...
Go on.
I think it's also that the kill shot doesn't deal its damage for some reason. Oh, hi, Amber Translator.
That is actually the one we wanted to see here, because that gives us immediate access to hints and the check-in sand cache.
Yeah, that does satisfy our Dark Aegon Translator hint as well. So far the hint's not really helping us peek too far into the seed's future, but sand cache is now open, and we do get access to 4 hints in Aegon.
Oh, looks like Ralen's going for a save warp.
Could be a save warp, or it could be just a safety save and then checking crossroads, because Ralen did not take this route on the way in.
Ooh, that's a good call. Yeah, because the cutscene trigger's already played, so I didn't see if they opened it, but I can't imagine they would have left that gate closed.
Indeed. So let's see what this gives us. We still don't have logical missiles yet. But they could just be chilling in Transport Center.
Well, yeah, based on what we have, they could be in 3 places. Transport Center, Sand Cache, or Communications Area. Everything else that they have access to is logically locked by missiles. So it's not Transport Center.
So I think we're going to see Marker detour back for Sand Cache and read the hints here.
Or not read the hint.
Yeah, interesting that neither runner is reading the hint here, although Ralen might read it on the way back. And, yeah, so Markers is going to head back into... Oh, Markers has realized the mistake. Yeah. All right, and the hint tells us a suit can be found in Hive Chamber B. That is our other suit.
So that That is our dark suit, and junction site is our light suit.
Most likely. Unless Spider Ball doesn't require a suit to get there and to get it in the first place.
Well, if Sand Cache is Spider Ball, Sand Cache or communications area is Spider Ball, and the other one is Missile, then yeah.
So yeah, the good news is, and because it's Hive Chamber B, both runners are going to run into that suit pretty early. Annihilator is one room away from Great Temple Sanctuary. That would mean it is in Temple Transport A access.
Ooh, Dark Beam and Sand Cache. That actually opens some stuff up.
All right, who feels like backtracking to Incache 4? Show of hands.
Yeah, I mean, that is very possible. Incache 4 likes to be things. And there is Emerald Translator.
Well, that
okay, so that Annihilator's looking pretty promising right now.
That could be our portal. That's our portal combo. Because now we have we're gonna have Dark Annihilator perfectly in play. By the way, where's Missile Launcher? This is all in play without
communication
missiles.
area. Communication area is the only place it can be. And that was in logic as soon as they picked up bombs.
I'm wondering if we're going to get something even spicier and that power bombs are going to be next and we have to go to Detour to GFMC.
Oh, that would be something.
Because like I said, we've got everything we've gotten up to this point has been non-missile locked. You know, the Dark Beam, the Amber Translator, that's all been just bombs.
And Marker is setting up for a 2-cycle on Bomb Guardian. Now, in order to get that, you have to hit the Bomb Guardian when it becomes vulnerable with a uncharged power beam shot, a missile, and a charge shot. That will bring it just down to the threshold where you can take it out on your next cycle through. Looks like Ralen didn't quite get it. Yeah, just short.
Yeah, unfortunately, the missile whiffed. But luckily, a small extra charge shot will fix this no problem. Or not. Or the Bomb Guardian can just lean back and, like, anime dodge. All right, we're going to get a look at an item in the hint in the Aegon Energy Controller, which is another beam tank, as if we don't have enough of those already.
Well, I mean, you kind of want them. And there's the suit hint.
That's the dark suit hint. Thanks, game. You're really not helping us with these hints. And we'd like to remind the audience, these are getting changed soon.
I'm kind of not looking forward to that.
All right, with bombs and Dark Beam in tow, we are able to peek this item here in Mine Shaft, which is even more missiles.
Yeah, just a reminder that this check was not logical without the missile launcher, because you need missiles to get to Temple.
I'm a little alarmed by the fact that we already have a hinted... Is there a world where Light Suit can lock missiles? I'm trying to think this through a little bit here.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, because if we get Spider Ball, not missile lock, that is the other suit. And we have access in logic to Annihilator Beam, courtesy of Emerald Translator and bombs.
Yeah, we have... So, it's possible that missile launcher could have been placed in FTA. We have...
Oh, yeah.
Almost everything we need. The only thing we would need to get there would be screw attack or power bombs.
Hey, do you want to backtrack to Incache 4 for progression like I told you to?
I kind of do.
I don't call this trash on purpose.
But on the other hand, with that Annihilator, you can kind of put off going for that for a little bit.
Yeah, that is all logical beams very, very early. So we got beams and suits already.
Yeah, and none of them require missile.
This is a very unconventional start. Usually we start off with ball upgrades and a missile upgrade or two. Ralen is going into Pirate Labs, interestingly. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I kind of like this because this is 3 checks that are very easily available. They don't have anything to logically get this one, but they can peek it, and if they know how to do BSJs, they can get it out of logic.
True.
And then there's command center, which is often something. They have bombs, so they can logically get it. They have dark beam, so they can check it first without committing to the morph ball tunnel, and then they can continue on to the cache.
In storage B, yeah, but it looks like Marcus is going to rush Annihilator instead.
I don't blame him for that. You know, if Ralen wanted to be really aggressive, he could route in bioenergy and storage D, because he can get those with what he has.
The only downside to that route is that without Light Beam, you can't easily route your way out via Ventilation Area A. Having Light Beam for Vent Area A would be really, really nice.
And Ralen does, in fact, get up there using BSJs.
Yeah, is having trouble with the Scan Dash, however, to get up to the Central Mining Station item.
You see, if you could do the BSJ, I think it's probably better to reload this room to get the cannon, because then you can shoot the skiff off of its rack and you have easy access.
Alright, we're going to get to see the item here in comm area, and it is an energy tank, question mark?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not unwelcome, but also question marking on the logic. That being said, well, no, Bomb Guardian's out of play technically still, so Hive Chamber A would still be no good. We could do it, just it's out of play. Or out of logic. Oh, I'm sorry, there should be an energy tank in that hole, not a splinter.
Upgrade splinter.
Could you imagine?
Haha.
Make it happen in Prime 4.
Okay, so that single suit actually does get us something, Baha. That gets us, with the light beam that we know is reachable, it gets us Pod W.
Wait a minute, that doesn't make... Well, no, there's not a suit in Pod W. This isn't a Cestrion seed.
But there is a logical way that Pod W could be the missile launcher.
It could be. Yeah, because Light Beam plus Dark lets us in there with the Hive Chamber B suit.
And we have a Dark Aegon key in that storage. Storage in Light World, in-cache in Dark World.
Alright, so storage B key. Not much else to report on here. Unfortunately, Ralen is diving through labs here without the energy tank from comm area, so is in a little bit of a spicy spot here.
And we have DMT on Marker's mask side. Now, fun thing is that... Oh, that looks like...
That's Spider.
Yeah, that's Spider! Oh my...
So, Light Suit is locked by missiles.
No, Light Suit is not locked by missiles. Light Suit is obtainable.
Wait,
no, you're right,
I was about
because
to say,
it is potentially...
So,
no, there's no way you can get there without missiles.
So, yeah, missiles in Pod W, huh?
Yep.
Wait. Yeah, no, because the Hive Chamber B... Oh, this is the other suit. Hive Chamber B right here. This is the logical suit for Pod W. Oh, hello, super missiles.
No, I don't think this is the logical... No, yeah, it has to be.
This would be the logical suit for Pod W. Yes. The Hive Chamber B.
Oh, the Annihilator gets us in here.
Yes. Annihilator lets us get out of Pod... well, we would have gotten Light Beam anyway with Dark.
No, but the Annihilator gets us to Hive Chamber B.
Right, because Charged Annihilator... And we've seen a... You're right, because we have Charged Annihilator. We have seen a beam tank in either direction. Unfortunately, no power bombs here, so Ralen has to take down Dark Samus the hard way with no more health. Health drops. This is going to be a little rough. Ralen probably wishing he'd had grabbed those super missiles before the fight.
And I wish I'd noticed that sooner so I could have changed the music to my favorite track in this game.
Unfortunately, Ralen's emulator is not having it.
Nope.
Yeah, unfortunately, I assume this is on Dolphin, and it does not handle distortion effects very well, which includes fire, portals. Yeah, unfortunately, Phase 2 is really hard because you have to basically watch out for the super missile volleys and the charge shots. And during both of those, and the ram attacks especially, and during those all of those, for the most part, Dark Samus is invincible. That being said, Ralen hasn't taken any more chip shots since the fight started. Unfortunately, he is too far away to get those charge shots in. Ooh, gets a lucky hit there.
And it looks like Marker is going back for that light beam.
All right, one well-timed charge shot here should do it, like so.
Nice.
So Ralen will be awarded with his super missiles. We also can take a quick peek at what is in main reactor as well. Luckily, you get a massive dark beam refill here. All right, so Marker's going to get light. That is the path to pod W now. Oh, that... I'm curious for this. Now, here's the question. Are our runners going to metagame the logic here and, like... unfortunately, Marker's fell down there. Are the runners going to metagame the logic and assume it's missiles in pod W and skip out on it? Or is it going to be main power bombs and missile launchers just going to be on top of the ship?
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be something. I don't think at this point it's really safe to skip Pod W. There's still too many unknowns.
I agree. Because at this point, it can now be missile launcher, main power bombs, screw attacks. It could be, like, literally anything. Yeah, and we know...
For a very hideous logic chain, it could even be Boost Ball to then get Vanilla Seekers to then go somewhere. Because you could get to Torvis with the stuff you have if you have Boost and Seekers.
Mm-hmm. And Amber Translator Lightbeam does let us get to the other side. Hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, you still need missiles to get to, You do need a missile to get to the Torvis elevator, unfortunately.
Oh, right, because you can't fire with... Seeker is not considered a logical launcher.
Well, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking of the one red door in front of the Torvis elevator.
All
right, so where's Marker going now? They've got Light Suit. Probably a save warp here. Or just, I think actually it'd be faster to walk right out the front door here to get back to Accursed Lake. Now we'll see if Ralen knows the scan dash for Storage C here. Because from the rightmost cargo grid, it is possible to scan dash to the Supers door here. And with super missiles in a very convenient spot, why not?
It's not the worst scan dash in the world. You just gotta bend it a little, and that takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, it's also helpful if you lock on. In my experience, if you lock onto the spider track. Okay, I thought for a minute that was a. Oh, it's an energy tank, and Ralen is not going to say no to that.
Yeah, we take those.
Yeah, definitely one of the more energy-starved seeds.
First try.
Very nicely done. And do super missiles get us anything good?
Nope.
Not really. All right, now we're going to see the labs dive from Marker's Mask. Now, unlike Ralen, Marcus is going to have a much easier time getting through here courtesy of Spider Ball and Light Beam.
Okay, with beams, space jump, and logical dark suit, and later, is there? Yes, there is one missile door from the front of Torvis. So Torvis isn't logical that way.
Yeah, there's still no way to get to Torvis without missile launcher.
Yeah, and supers were locked here, so gateway isn't logical.
Yeah, supers are also locked by missiles in this case too, so because labs access is missile locked regardless. So unfortunately, Ralen is not packing light or annihilator, so could do doomed entry, but will have to save warp out.
Looks like that is what they are doing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too, because with super missiles in tow, you can also route in Warrior's Walk.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's this. They probably planned for this to get them back to Hive Chamber.
Yeah, more than likely, what we're going to see Raylan do here is save warp out after picking up that maybe picking up that sunburst. We'll see if he chooses to do so. Picking up that sunburst and then hightailing it to the save station to save warp back to for Annihilator Beam. Don't burn all your Annihilator shots, Markers. You're going to need 10 of those for Dark Samus, since, strangely enough, well, amongst all the items that we have found, none of them have been Power Bomb related. It's been mostly beam ammo tanks, so I'm actually wondering if Charged Annihilator for Dark Suit is actually logically being considered right now.
It has to be. That is the only way this logic chain makes sense.
Yeah, because at this point, yeah, it has to be there has to be critical progression in Pod W. I don't know what it is yet, but yeah, we're gonna see Raylan bust out here, go backtrack for Annihilator Beam, and then unfortunately, I don't think Raylan read the hint in Mining Plaza, which would point to Light Beam. Now, granted, the hint is in a great spot. But we'll see if Raylan takes this Annihilator Beam to... Well, actually, no. Raylan has to go back for Light Beam first. Although it can't go to Pod W without it.
Oh, here's something that we didn't consider. No, never mind. We don't have Echo, so it can't be Profane Path, and no Dark Visor to put Phase on Ground in Logic, because I do not believe invisible items are logical in these settings.
They are not, and furthermore, a progressive grapple, or screw attack would also be required.
Right, to cross the pit.
Mm-hmm. So because of that, yeah, progression has to be in Pod W. So you're telling me we have to go get Amber Translator so we can get Dark Beam, so that way we can... well, no. It's technically bomb. So we need bombs to get Emerald Translator so that we can go back and get Annihilator Beam, so that way we can use Charged Annihilator for the suit. And also go get Dark Beam out of Sand Cache so that we can go back to In Cache 4 to get Light Beam so we can open the gateway to Pod W.
Yep.
Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yep, and doesn't look like there's anything in Battlegrounds.
Thanks. I love it. And you know what's the funny thing is? With Marker's light suit, they can already check Feeding Pit. So why not? Aw, the one time we get light suit early and Feeding Pit's not required. Although an energy tank will definitely not be missed.
Honestly, at this point, with how sparse energy is, that's kind of required.
With light suit in tow, it gets a little bit less dicey. But after 2 energy tanks with light suit, you're probably okay.
Ooh, dangerous key.
If you don't have the hint, get the key.
And we have a missile upgrade in Defiled Shrine. That actually could potentially be Seekers.
Yes, it could.
And Ralen about to get the very confusing news about what logic in this seed is.
Yeah, luckily has just enough Dark Beam ammo shot to get this this done in a timely fashion.
And Marker went here without picking up his super missiles, so he will not be able to continue on to Warrior's Walk.
Yeah, now that's not the worst thing, because at the very least, super missiles are right here, so Marcus is going to have a choice. Either go back and backtrack to Warrior's Walk, or check, what's it's called, Vent Area A with Light Beam and Spider Ball. So Marcus at least has those options, and also High Dark Samus by Dark Samus, except it didn't time the Annihilator shots well. You don't want to be firing those when Dark Samus is idling. You want to use it when she's doing an attack.
Now, despite having Dark in her name, Dark Samus is not weak to Light Beam, as she is a denizen of the Light World. However, Light Beam still does a lot of damage, so it's definitely worth using.
Charged Light is actually the highest form of neutral damage. So Charged Light is the better move, but it doesn't target, it doesn't lock on to Dark Samus, so you do have to shotgun it. Alright, so that being said, Ralen is returning to Aegon after picking up Annihilator Beam. Should be, hopefully, passing through Mining Plaza and reading the hint for Light Beam. And what even was in, I don't think it was anything important in Main Reactor. Yeah, that looks like a missile tank. Mark is just going to confirm that for us. Scan visor, please. And what is down here in Dark Oasis? Because that's going to be the bigger question mark for later. A missile-related upgrade.
That could also be Seekers.
There is a world that could be Seeker missiles, and that would be very funny.
I'm pretty sure that world was his last seed.
Oh my. Alright, missile tank in Vent Area A. And we can't go to Sanctuary without power bombs. Is Sank Entrance in play? No, we don't have Boost Ball.
We also don't have... We don't have anything to get us through the gate.
Yeah,
so we would need either Dark Visor Seekers to go from the Emerald Gate, or we would need Power Bomb or Screw Attack to get through the way from the Aegon sector.
All right, so Raylan's gonna read the light suit hint, and it looks like he's making that detour for Light Beam now, and probably gonna make a detour to Warrior's Walk on top of that. So Ralen is going to be our first to see that.
And since he picked up Spider, he can grab that light suit.
True. So yeah, with all that knowledge, Ralen has basically 3 items in this neighborhood, which one of them I don't recall if he read the mining plaza hint. I don't think he did.
Yeah, but you don't leave that behind if you can get it and you're going to this area anyway for something.
Oh yeah, you'd absolutely don't. And it's going to work out. So right now we're crossing fingers for some spice, and by that I mean something that is not missile launcher in Pod W.
Realistically, I don't think it's anything but missile launcher, but there are worlds where it can be something else.
I'm still leaning in towards main power bombs at this point. Markers is going to meeting grounds. Is this a Sky Temple key hint check? Because I can't see any other reason why Markers would be heading in this direction. It could be a trip to Torvis, out of logic. I think Markers is banking right now on it being missile launcher in Pod W. Because, yeah, without secret missiles, the only way you would have to get out of bounds in order to check the... I mean, you could do it, but you'd have to go out of bounds to check the your Sky Temple key hints without seekers.
Without screw attack, it's a lot longer.
Yeah, because you would have to, in this context, you would have to BSJ up abandoned base on the elevator to get to the top of that and then go out of bounds. Umos 2 is a power bomb.
Yep. Well, that is the first power bomb we know where it is.
All right, so our warrior's walk item is a Sky Temple key. Not unwelcome. It's nice, but it doesn't solve this logic chain that is causing us to giggle a little here. All right, now Raylan's going to backtrack to Feeding Pit and get the 2 items there, which we know one of them is an Aegon key. The other is going to be a probably very much sought-after energy tank. And if I had to guess by Marker pulling out the Annihilator Beam... Oh, no.
Oh, Marker's going for hints.
Yeah, so it looks like we are going to see them do the BSJ here.
Yeah, there is absolutely no reason to go to the gondola unless you are going for hints.
So, what logic chain, chat asks? So right now, without missiles, you are expected to go get... Amber Translator on Jump Guardian with bombs. You get Space Jump early, too. You get Amber Translator to go get Dark Beam out of Sand Cache. That lets you go get Light Beam out of In Cache 4. Along the lines...
That is a much easier way to do that climb. I did not know about that.
Okay, excuse me for a minute while I check the playback and see... Oh... It's literally that easy.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, today I learned...
I spent like 40 minutes yesterday practicing that BSJ, and I didn't need to do it.
I see what... Yeah, so to clarify, what Marker did there is just lower the first railing of the gondola and then just jump on top of that, because if it looks like you can stand on it, you can stand on it. And today I learned. Unfortunately,
it doesn't look like anything in War Ritual Grounds.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's an energy tank. Unfortunately, though, because of this, Markers now has to go all the way around. Now, I do believe they've set up a pivot save at the ship. So... we'll most likely just pivot there after checking hints.
I mean, they have super, so if they wanted to do the walk back, they could, but it wouldn't save them any time.
All right, so I'm trying to think what the play from... I mean, the play for now is Plane of Dark Worship. That is actually all we have left that we can do. Unless Marcus just decides to go from here to Torvis. Which, there's technically nothing stopping them. Besides logic.
Logic is the thing that stops us all.
But yeah, now Marcus has loaded the final hallway here before the room, and it's just gonna crawl over the top of the ether box, because this is the top of the room, like the very, very top. Is gonna have to morph here in order to get back down. And just like that, broke the Seeker's door on top of that. So now Marcus might not even go back to the pivot save. If they want to keep these doors both open and possibly go Seekerless for the seed, then might be worth it to keep that door busted down. Right then. Yeah. 6 keys remaining, 6 unknowns, one that we know of has already been picked up in Warrior's Walk. Hall of Combat Mastery, that's free, kind of. Hive Temple. You love to see it.
Path of Roots, that's... just needs a grapple.
Yeah.
Actually, no. There's a BSJ because they have Grav. Warrior's Walk, we knew. Sand Processing, so we need Boost.
Alright, that's a little ugly, but it could be worse.
GFMC Compound.
Alright, that's free. Actually, it will be free once we figure out how we get there.
Under Temple.
Alright, those keys are pretty spicy. Half of them pretty good, half of them pretty bad.
So we need Boost. Path of Roots could potentially be obtainable for Marker if he knows the BSJ, but we need Screw Attack anyway.
Yeah, Boost Ball we need whether you like it or not for Quad.
Well, Quad is beatable without Boost. It's just not the funnest thing in the world.
Yeah,
but
no
incidentally,
thanks.
neither is fighting Quad at all, so...
I was about to say, yeah, no thanks. Yeah, Under Temple's not too bad once we figure out how we're supposed to get to Torvis.
Yeah, and we don't know which Under Temple it is, so they may not have to fight the boss.
Yeah, but either way, you're still looking for Screw Attack first, if that's the case.
You also don't really want to go to that boss without having Boost Ball. It's a lot more painful if you cannot boost across the rails.
Mm-hmm. It's even better if you have Cannon, because then nothing matters. Unfortunately, and what doesn't help right now is that all of the hints that we've picked up to this point have been satisfied. Like, Ralen's about to get the Light Beam hint here. Which is like, thanks, game. I needed that hint 20 minutes ago.
And Chaika is dead.
Okay, that's actually a good hint. Well, not good by our standards, but... Looks like Marcus is just going to take it easy here and fight these pirates. Luckily, a charged light shot vaporizes them all in one hit.
I mean, they do a lot of damage, so with not having a lot of health, probably the safest bet.
That is fair, because we're still running on only collectively 2 energy tanks between each runner. Now, Marcus could go ahead and check Wind Chamber Gate here, courtesy of a good scan dash.
It's not logical, but it's definitely grabbable, so might as well. And that looks like a red key.
And we still do not have our Morbus hint yet. This could be our last Morbus key.
That's not being grabbed.
Nope. I am a little bit alarmed by the fact that we still have not found a power bomb. It's going to get to the point where after we beat Quad, we might just fight to do Umos 2 just for the power bomb tank. Could you imagine? I doubt it, but that would still be funny.
Well, it depends on where Boost Mode shows up. Because if Boost Ball shows up, there is definitely an argument to rushing Quad for the teleports.
For the teleports, fair. That's true. I wasn't even considering that. You know, at least we're not going to have a Super Missiles and Torvus Energy Controller scenario here today.
That is always a trip.
No doubt.
Torvus Bog is missile, or Poison Bog is missile related.
Also could be Seeker Missiles. Alright, now let's see if the game decided to pull an insulting move and put Screw Attack in Torvus Lagoon.
That is Echo Visor.
Okay, that's not too bad. That gives
Not
us
what
access
Marker
to...
wanted.
No, it does give us Profane Path, though, and it does
Not
give us
logical.
all Echo Doors.
None of that being logical, though, because we still don't have logical access into Torvus, and Marker is, in fact, going for that BSJ. This is only possible if you have Grav, because otherwise you have water physics on your Morph Ball jumps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, fun fact for a Marker, if you watch this back, you can do this BSJ off of either side. So if you're having trouble with the camera not agreeing with you, just roll to the other side.
Ooh, looks like Marker got the BSJ, but bonked on a ceiling of some sort.
Yeah, there's some, like, metal rails that go around that column. But he gets it.
Don't leave without scanning the hint. Hey, nice Echo Visor hint. Did you make sure to go pick that up before you got here? Thanks, game. Thanks a bunch. Honestly, besides that Chica hint, and the Quad hint, besides the boss hints, these hints have been absolute garbage today.
Yep. It looked like ammo in Portal Chamber.
It is Sonic Boom.
Oh,
in
Sonic Boom
Portal
is
Chamber.
good.
And we should note that our runners did RA in reduced beam combo costs. So they're only going to need 10 beam ammo for their combos. So a 10 beam combo Sonic Boom wouldn't be too bad, especially for something like Grapple Guardian.
Oh, yeah. Sonic Boom actually has the ability to damage Grapple Guardian during its invincibility frames while it is transitioning phases. So if you have the ability to pick up Sonic Boom, I always recommend picking it up. Oh, Marker actually dodging Greta there. Don't see that often.
Yeah, the key to dodging that is just to not move to the wall, to the farthest wall to bomb jump right away. Just wait until the start of the grab and then move.
Wow,
See, like
appearances
now-
from both Greta and Rain. This is quite the seed.
Feed me, Samus! Alright, and no power bombs, so we can't get the item in Great Bridge. Imagine if that's Boost Ball.
Oh god, what would
laugh.
this seed be?
I will laugh if that's Boost Ball. Well, energy tank is nice, but not going to do us a whole lot of good right now. We'll get that on the way out, probably. We have super missiles and emerald translator too, so we can pretty much sweep this entire neighborhood.
And Marker realizing they did not scan the cannon.
And this is why you always scan the cannon.
It appears that Ralen is in the exact same place, so we've got a bit of a high five.
More like hand-holding, I would argue.
So neither of our runners have checked the one check that is in logic and are instead opting to go out of logic.
Yeah, I think they're gambling that it's missile launcher. And if that is the case, then there's no need to fret about it anymore. Why detour for what will effectively be 5 missiles? Was that a translator, or... Oh no, it's an energy tank. E's good. Yeah, I think after 4E with light suit, you're probably good for the whole rest of the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If you're being really gutsy, 2 is probably enough. But under most conditions, 4 is probably your safest bet.
I would not feel comfortable with 2 because Emperor Ing's a giant troll.
Could be.
And we finally have our Aegon key hint.
Alright, the last Aegon key is lying somewhere close by. It is in Torvis. So yeah, Ralen, despite having a bit of a delayed trip to return to Lightbeam, has actually recovered quite nicely and is hovering pretty closely behind Marker.
Yeah, and actually going for those lab items early did help Ralen make up time because they were able to just loop that Dark Aegon loop very efficiently when they did come back.
Yeah, and because of that, Ralen is now up 1 key on Markers due to the Warrior's Walk key.
Ooh, is that our last Aegon? Yep, that is.
There's always, well, assuming a Morbus is required, of course, there is always progression in Underground Tunnel.
I was really hoping that was going to be the Amorbus hint.
Me too. But it turns out the Dark Suit provides resistance to the toxic atmosphere of Dark Aether.
Who knew?
I mean, it's not like we need it for logic. And we got lower Torvis access already, so Marker's just going for it.
Might as well. Game loves to just jam something important in Hydro Dynamo.
Usually, in my experience, if the keys aren't as spread out as they are, they're like all condensed in lower Torvis.
Yeah, that happens a lot. But I cannot tell you the amount of times I have seen Grav Boost Hydro Dynamo.
Oh, that's just funny. I still think Screw Attack in Torvis Lagoon is funnier.
It is you'd want to use that to skip that.
It is literally the most insulting place you can put Screw Attack. Next to somewhere in Vault Side. Alright, now Markers is out of missiles here, so it's just going to try and use the puffers to get a refill.
Yeah, Soaring Wyvern stopped letting me gen RCGC practices after I rolled 2 in a row.
Two what's in a row? Oh,
Caretakers.
OMG, a Powerbomb.
Powerbomb. See? I'm telling you, game loves to jam important stuff in Hydro Dynamo.
Where has that been for the last 50 minutes? But luckily, with our current equipment, we can sweep the entire lower Torvis loop, lower Torvis loop. What was that? Was that Dark Burst?
I think so. It looked black and circular. Morbus is a light ammo.
Aww. All right, Markers. How you gonna get across?
Grav boost.
You just jump across. Yeah, that checks.
Now, reminder, Grav boost is not logical because Grav boost was missile locked.
Yes, it was in Storage Cavern B. So yeah, with these platforms now, Markers can cross over to TTS, and this is the path you want to take when you have Emerald Translator and Annihilator Beam with Grav, because then you could just sweep the entire thing. There's either an item or a hint in every room in this path. And if we somehow get Dark Visor along the way, we can even squeeze in Dungeon. Fortunately, Ralen's trying to BSJ back up top to Great Bridge here, but is having a little trouble. There he goes. So what are we looking for here? We have Echo Visor for quad. Technically, we don't necessarily need it, but we need Screw Attack, we need Boost Ball, and I actually think that's about it. That's all we need. Screw Attack and Boost Ball.
I thought we needed Dark Visor for something, but I could be misremembering.
Well, depending on where Seeker Missiles ran off to, we might.
Is that Boost?
It's either Boost or Cannon.
Either one you take.
Yeah, Cannon's going to be a tough sell, though, because it's hard to keep Cannon without Screw Attack. But either way, at least it'll make Powerbomb Guardian free. Whoops.
I say if that's Cannon, you immediately rush quad.
If it's Cannon, now that we have a Powerbomb in tow, yes. Because with, well, unfortunately, with Echo Visor, you can't climb up ATS. So you will have to go all the way around Vault side. It is standard boost. Oh, that is ugly. I mean,
yep.
Grav was early, to be fair, but even still.
It's not logical, though, because we're still missing that missile launcher. So, yeah, this seed revolves around a missile launcher that has not shown up.
Dungeon is dead. This hint reveals to us that Screw Attack is on Dark Torvis Arena, and we just got access to that. What do you know?
Imagine you rush that right now.
Hang on a minute. That's seed solved, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Marker's case, yeah. I think that's actually seed solved.
Unless the Seekers and Dark Visor are required for something, but which doesn't seem likely at this point.
Oh, Seekers are probably also chilling with Screw Attack.
Yeah.
That can't hit two. That can't hit the same. That cannot hit the same item twice.
Yep. It could be Dark Visor.
Could be, but I don't. Yeah, I think this is seed solved. I think we just have to go to Boost Guardian. Wow. That's not bad.
It's kind of a headache, but yeah, it's not all that bad.
So yeah, so both Screw Attack and something else are in Dark Torvis Arena. But you still would have to backtrack to Transit Tunnel South for Boost Ball first. And then, with that Screw Attack that you get from Dark Torvis Arena, you most likely have to go all the way back down to Undertemple for the key on Powerbomb Guardian, assuming it's on the wall. If it's not on the wall, I mean, technically you still need main power bombs. But yeah, as expected, Marker's just going to gun it for Boost Guardian now. So yeah, I think our runners are operating on the idea that it is just straight up missile launcher in Pod W. If it's not, if it's like main power bombs or screw attack, then the only other place there could be something important is on the ship.
Well, checks would be main power bombs.
Yeah, so it would have to be, if it's main power bombs in Pod W, then missile launcher is probably just on the ship in GFMC or something, alongside the Sky Temple key that's there. Yeah, let me double check our keys. Yeah, I don't see anything that requires Dark Visor. So yeah, I think we're done here, folks.
Yeah, pretty much. Sand processing.
Yeah, you just have to detour to Transit Tunnel South for Boost Ball, which unfortunately is unhinted.
Screw attack gets us GFMC and Undertemple. Hall of Combat Mastery is technically accessible with a power bomb.
I would love to know where our main power bombs and missile launcher are currently hiding.
Mining station.
You said mining station and you cut out. Sorry?
Mining Station A was technically locked by power bombs.
Yes. That was a key, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But yeah, let's see what we've got here. Alright, so it is screw attack on the wall, and the boss is holding something else. Alright, and we do have our power bomb here. So, Marcus is going to try and go for a jump guardian, which, boost guardian, which thankfully this isn't the worst pain to do with light suit. So yeah, just gotta hope that that bomb lands and sticks, and it did. Clean boost guardian, and our reward is... Seeker missiles. Okay, yeah, this is Cetus Frius. This is basically game over. So we're going to see Marker. We might see Markers do Cash B Chasm here to get back to Lower Torvis for Undertemple. In fact, that would actually be very fast. The only problem with doing that is you need 2 power bombs to cross over into Undertemple, so you will have to make a quick detour to the mid-room above Alpha Blog in order to stock up on an extra power bomb. So, doable. Annoying, but doable. But yeah, we're going to see Marker take a safety save here and then do a Cash B Chasm play.
Meanwhile, Ralen is cleaning up Lower Torvis. And will likely get the good news that they made the right choice in skipping Pod W.
Alright, and yeah, Marker's not even going to bother checking Cash B. He's just going to go ahead and casually jump out of bounds.
Well, I mean, you check it while you're doing it, so...
Sounds like a something, but Looks like, yeah, they're just not interested.
So for anybody confused, what Marker is doing here is what we call Cache B Chasm. So Cache B in the Dark World is the Dark World version of the elevator down to Lower Torvis. And for whatever reason, they kept all of the essentially box for that elevator in the game. So you can actually traverse from upper Dark Torvis to upper Lower Torvis out of bounds.
Yeah, the elevator exit point is still there, and then thanks to a ceiling warp like that, there you go. Fairly quick Cache B Chasm, very nicely done. Unfortunately, needs a power bomb. Now, easy way to solve that problem is just Annihilator being the crystal here. Or not. Is electing to use the puffers instead. Yep, unless it's the Switch version, every room is inside of a box. On the Switch version, there is no box.
Oh god, what even is the world then? And there's grapple.
Okay, now you're just adding insult to injury. They also both got grapple at the same time. So it looks like Ralen's going to power bomb the upper door first here. Maybe just get a power bomb off of the Hunter Egg. Nope, not going to do that. But yeah, as you can see here, Markers does have to grab bombs here. Is going to make a quick detour to Alpha Blog, although to save a power bomb here is just going to go route around from the back. You know, I might just call the 4 o'clock race. If we end up finishing this fast enough.
And the key is in fact on the Guardian. Or as I like to call it, Charlene.
Beg your pardon?
I had about 10, 15 seeds in a row that sent me down here, and Charlene is my nemesis.
I see. Yeah, now in Ralen's case, unfortunately, he does not know about most of the stuff that is on these hints, just decided to rush Lower Torvis immediately here. So did not read a lot of those hints.
Which is understandable considering he knows about the key. Because I believe he got hints too.
Reminder to the audience, Sunburst is useful. That, I was about to say, that is not going to work. You are going to get knocked off that spider track. Luckily, with Light Suit, this fight is free.
Doesn't make it fun.
Now, I don't think Ralen realizes you don't have to circle around to shoot the backside after dropping Grapple Guardian's force field on the second phase. In fact, doing uncharged light straight through the head is actually better DPS because you hit both the head and the back in the same shot. So you effectively deal double damage if placed correctly.
Though to be fair, though, the game doesn't make it obvious that Grapple Guardian is vulnerable from the front in the second phase.
Indeed. Anyways, we'll take that key now.
From here, I imagine Marker just routes into Sank and starts cleaning up the keys there.
Most likely, because, yeah, you still have to go to Quad, Hall of Combat Mastery, and, what's the faster play here? The faster play is to go to... I think the faster play here is to go to Hall of Combat Mastery first, take that portal, and route your way to Quad.
Alternatively, you could go to Quad first, hit Hall of Combat Mastery second, then take the elevator into Aegon immediately to sand processing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We do have sand processing still on the list.
From there, you're really close to a save station, so you just save warp and do GFMC. And take GFMC through Gateway to the portal.
Yeah, because Marker, I do believe, opened up the crystal switch.
Oh, but Marcus still has to grab Warrior's Walk.
Yeah, so I think what Marcus is going to end up doing here is go to... Yeah, Marcus is going to go to Aegon first, do Warrior's Walk, dump out at Sand Processing, grab those keys, and then take Vent Area A to Sanctuary. And from there, just grab Hall of Combat Mastery and Quad. That's going to bring their count to 8. What's their key 9? GFMC. So that would be a simple save warp back to Meeting Grounds, and then just go back through Wind Chamber with Power Bombs.
It's probably faster from GFMC to go through Gateway.
The only downside is we can't go... Well, we can't go out from Sacred Bridge because we don't have Dark Visor for the bridge. So we would have to go around from the Meeting Ground side. From Meeting Grounds to Wind Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be Marker's way to GFMC, most likely.
Still, the keys line up fairly nicely for Marker.
Yeah, this should be a fairly... For the most part, this should be a fairly pleasant go mode. So yeah, Ralen now knows about Boost Guardian and is about to get Boost Ball. So that should hopefully give him the indication to hit go mode as well. So yeah, it seems like the seat isn't bad as long as you ignore the logic of Pod W. Otherwise, you're backtracking.
The seat isn't bad as long as you pretend it's good.
I mean, Quad is... I mean, fighting Quad is a little rough, but at the very least, that's the only boss you have to fight in this case.
Well, besides Charlene.
Oh, yeah. Didn't think about that one. So yeah, that's Ralen's Boost Ball. That is going to set him on the path to go mode.
Platform Pirate, one of my favorite tricks.
Oh yes, I think that's like one of the first slope jumps I've learned. And Amorbis. Oh wait, we established Amorbis was dead. But yeah, to bring everybody just up who might just be joining in up to speed on what our logic chain was, fortunately, Marcus is going to have to bomb their way out of here. There we go. Or just wait.
Yeah, the developers never expected you to be on that side of the... Wait. Oh, marker, turn around.
I think this is
That was your
just
key.
I think this is just a safety save.
But yeah, as I was saying, the developers never expected you to be on the other side of that wall without breaking it, so they didn't really code collision. So you can get yourself stuck in it, and if you try to missile it from the back, it will just go through.
So yeah, to catch you folks up on the logic here. So the plan for the seed was to go you get a few items nice and early. You get bombs early. You get space jump early. You get space jump into bombs. You take that to Dark Aegon so that way you can get Amber Translator off of Jump Guardian. You need to go to Sand Cache with Amber Translator to go get Dark Beam, and then backtrack to Ink Cache 4 with Dark Beam to get Light Beam. Once you go use your bombs to get Emerald Translator in Mining Station Access, you can then go get Annihilator Beam, which with a couple of... with Charged Annihilator, that lets you get a suit in Hive Chamber B. And that suit, with Light Beam and Annihilator Beam, or Dark Beam, take your pick, gives you Pod W for what we assume is Missile Launcher, if not Main Power Bombs 2 Missile Launcher. And then you need to make a detour to Hive, to Storage D to go get Super Missiles. And then from there, you can take Super Missiles to Torvis and go get basically everything else. You need Boost Ball in Transit Tunnel South. You need to take that to go get Screw Attack on in Dark Torvis Arena. And I guess
Which also gets you Seekers.
Yeah, which is technically required as well. But after that, that's pretty much it.
And Marker gets the instant morph for Howl of Combat Mastery on his first try.
Oh no, Ralen took a fall on the platform. Yeah, the bomb slot is in a somewhat awkward spot. But yeah, from here, Marker's just going to go ahead and beeline it to quad. And we don't have the Hive keys, but you can just do a BSJ Screw Attack over the gate, because it doesn't extend infinitely into the ceiling.
Okay, here's the question. Do you return the energy for a second Power Bomb?
Unlikely. Now, I don't think there's going to be any, like, major good stuff. Yeah, Marker's not even looking up for Hive Gyro. Is going to make a detour to the ammo station first, however.
That's usually smart.
Yeah, so Ralen decided to skip the, or to fight the pirates here despite having boost.
It's generally a safe idea to do it, because if you ever come back here, you run the risk of crashing because of multiple layers.
On that note, though, Ralen is also not, going to Boost Guardian. Oh. Oh, just briefly maybe forgot about underground tunnel. So what we're going to see markers do here is BSJ up the top of the door here, and then just screw attack right over.
Who
Needs
needs
hive
keys?
Exactly.
There's not really a lot to talk about on the first phase. You basically just do it the same way you would in vanilla.
Yeah, and I do believe the lighting on the lights on the joints are on a global cycle. Or certainly in a manner that if you do the fight consistently every time, it'll always play out the same.
The main thing that you can really do is, if you get in the right spot, you can bait quad into doing its melee stomp, but I'm never able to get that consistently.
Okay, Quad's being a bully.
Well, I mean, he's only got one kneecap left. He really wants to save that one. And there we go. Phase 2, you just take out the antenna with Echo. Of course, you don't actually need Echo. You can manually aim at that antenna, or you could just screw attack into it.
Yeah,
These can be manually aimed at as well. It's actually not that hard with Uncharged Light Beam. Yep, just like that. You know, I actually don't think it... I think it would be worth it to actually farm a little bit of light ammo off of the dark quads here, because it makes the third phase a lot easier.
I think Marker has enough to make this work. I think you just need one full charge light salvo to stun here.
Okay, there's one. From there, you just spider ball up the legs and boost onto the head. You can land on the head with a well-placed screw attack. You would set that up essentially the same way you would if you were doing an inbound quad skip, where you'd parkour your way up his legs and then just jump off of them. Okay, just gotta land one more boost and Marker's got it.
Ooh, almost boosted too early there.
And that brings Marker's key count up to 8. Meanwhile, Ralen is about to collect his screw attack and seekers. Ooh, Puffer. Oh, just
Puffer.
being bullied by the Puffers. Oh, and a third one gets him as he collects his screw attack.
All right, Marker's about to get the very bad news that there's about to be a roadblock.
Yeah, you actually have to open a gate to use this portal. Thankfully, though, there's another portal that's accessible in the next room.
All right, Ralen, meanwhile, has acquired all the items for the Path to Go mode here. You know what's dumb is that despite handing us light suit, it wasn't required for anything.
Huh. You're right.
Oop. Yeah, you don't usually want to screw into that tunnel. I cannot believe that worked, but okay. Not complaining either.
Did he just grapple into a screw attack?
Oh, yes.
Huh. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that.
Surprise. Trying to think what Marker is trying to do here to get out. I would have gone to main gyro and taken the save station there.
Maybe he's going for the save station in Torvis?
Could be, or could just be running around to the one in main reactor core.
Oh, did he forget that he hasn't opened the gate in Sank Entrance?
Well, you can still get to the reactor core save station.
Good point.
You don't need the Sank entrance unlock for that. But you do have to take down Quentin.
Logically, yes, K-Rar. The main power bombs are required.
Now, we would like to remind the audience that our next race in the Mentor Tournament is coming up in just 30 minutes.
Oh, and Ralen is going for STK hints now. I thought he had already done them. That is my bad.
No, Ralen did not do that, because at the time, Ralen didn't have Seeker Missiles, so did not do the out-of-bounds that Marker did to get hints early. So for that reason, Ralen was clearing a lot more checks and not immediately rushing Boost Guardian after learning about Screw Attack. Yeah, Marker's being able to check the hints out of bounds without Screw Attack was actually pretty much the difference maker here, because that just allowed them to go ahead and route everything and immediately dip out of Lower Torvis as soon as the Screw Attack knowledge was given.
Yep.
But Ralen is going to see here that he is in go mode.
The one key that Marker is missing is GFMC, which is where he is headed right now, Luna.
So yeah, it's either in the box or it's on the ship.
It is on the ship.
I would have laughed if that was main missile launcher.
Well, that pretty much confirms that Pod W is main missile launcher. And, that is actually a very convenient place to have a missile expansion in this seed, because you could just dupe it, since we don't have a lot of missiles. Both runners only have 50.
Oh, and Ralen... Oh, no, this is an intentional death warp. Never mind. And yep, right through Wind Chamber we go. So yeah, things that would have made our lives really easy this seed that we didn't get: main power bombs and cannonball.
Well, Cannonball is arguable because of how late Screw Attack was.
Yeah,
and I say late relatively.
No, it was the last item in the chain. I'm willing to call that just straight up late.
Oh, one power bomb.
Nothing these pirates can't fix, assuming the 80% drop rate actually works correctly. Which it did not. Thanks, game. Thanks a bunch. You are gonna bonk? Yep. That cage has a...
Wonder if Marker's regretting not returning the energy now.
Well, to be fair, there's a couple of ways around that. Personally, my preferred method is to grab an extra bomb coming out of GFMC.
Yeah, because there's the high drop right there.
Yeah, because there's all those crates, so you're very likely to get a power bomb. But yeah, folks, coming up in just 20 minutes on SG4, we're going to have Elias Thompson versus Stashifer. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, the stash is like mustache.
Okay. And then 2 hours later, right here back on SpeedGaming 3, we've got Storm versus Arrow Razor. And then, Rico, you're going up against Steve later tonight.
Yeah, that should be fun.
So yes, good luck to all of our runners on those races. So yeah, you've got a nice big fat night of Echoes.
So the only real unknown left in this seed is where were main power bombs, because they were logically required.
Indeed. I'm a little curious to know where Dark Visor ran off to as well, because that could have been our other way into... If main power bombs were in Sank, Dark Visor would have been our way into... to get to Quad.
And as Ralen fells my hated enemy, Marker is entering the Sky Temple.
Alright, so probably going to take some refill here from the Ingworms. Doesn't have a lot of missiles, so yeah, the game is going to prioritize missile drops until you're full, and then give you power bombs afterwards.
Well, the good news on that front is he already is filled on his one power bomb, so he doesn't need to get a drop for that.
Yeah, there are 6 caches here, so you are guaranteed 6 drops, so plenty, again, enough to completely fill up in this case.
First part of this fight is fairly straightforward. You're just going to light beam the tentacles, which will open up a weak spot, which... Ooh, nice sunburst. Generally, the strats for this are super missiles or uncharged annihilator shots. It takes 4 super missiles to move on to phase 2. This is basically just a side-scroller. You're gonna bomb the tentacles as they emerge from those little knots, and unfortunately, with no power bombs, this is gonna take a bit. The real challenge of this stage are actually the inglets that come and knock you off into the poison cloud below. With Cannonball, this phase of the fight is free because nothing can damage you when you are in a Cannonball state. Okay, Emperor Ing 3. Now, it's believed at one point in development there was going to be an additional phase to this fight where Emperor Ing would spawn armor around its legs, and to beat them, well, break the armor, you would need to screw attack into it. For whatever reason, they cut that from the final game, but left the hitbox for it in this battle. So there is a hitbox that you can screw attack into just under Emperor Ing that is vulnerable to damage. And it's much faster, as you can see, to kill the boss with screw attacks than fight it normally.
I would love to see like a actual screw attack boss in a Prime game. Like, I think technically the closest we've had to date is SQ from Metroid Dread, because screw attack, you are able to, there is developer intended ways to get screw attack early, and screw attack just breaks the SQ fight. But I would love to have like a dedicated, like proper screw attack fight in Metroid. Make it happen, Prime 4. We know it's coming.
Okay, so Dark Samus. Now, what Marker is going to do here is bring her just to the cusp of transitioning to her 4th phase. And then he's going to try and break that trigger by dealing a significant amount of damage to her so she doesn't transition right away. You could do that either with a screw attack or with a super missile. The screw attack is a little more reliable if you can land it. And from here, yep, he's going to fire missiles to try and lock her into that missile shield animation and repeat the process with more screw attacks. But unfortunately, Dark Samus has transitioned. So now he's going to have to play out this battle as intended, which is unfortunately fairly slow. The only real thing to worry about here is if you hit Dark Samus 4 with one of those phase-on shots while she is lowering her shield, instead of damaging her, you will actually heal the boss. It's actually safer in this battle to manually aim at the phase-on instead of using the lock-on point.
Alright, it's going to take 2 more hits at this point.
And immediately, Dark Samus is just saying, I'm done at this point. And that is GG for Marker. With a sub 1 hour 45 minute seed.
Indeed, the official race time is a 1:44:15, and that will allow Markers to take it for this race.
There has not been a forfeit in the race room, so it looks like Ralen is continuing. With how close he is, I don't really blame him.
Now that was
because he's really just quad away.
Yeah, it looks like quad and the Aegon keys in Ralen's case. But we are joined in the booth by MarkersMS. Congratulations and GG.
GG, and thank you.
So overall, that go mode especially seemed very pleasant. It was pretty much everything just routed very nicely. But take us through the mid game, if you would, because you definitely skipped some logic.
Okay. Which part of the mid game, like middle of Aegon or towards Torvis?
More specifically, there is definitely some missile-related progression in Plane of Dark Worship by this point. You didn't have main missile launcher.
Oh, yeah.
So you got bombs, you got Dark Beam, Annihilator showed up next, and then Light Beam was right behind Dark. But at all this time, everything after anything before Bomb Guardian or after Bomb Guardian you couldn't do because no missile launchers. So we were like, what are we missing here? And then the suit in Hive Chamber B gave us the hint. Oh wait, yeah, Plane of Dark Worship.
Yeah. I assumed launcher was locked by suit somewhere. So, and given that I've already seen the second suit, and then also because Screw Attack never showed up, and with it being New Patcher, I knew logically for any other progression that needed to be opened up either on the Grand Wind Chamber side or going through to GFMC, I was going to find either Supers or Screw Attack in Dark Aegon. But it ended up being not Dark Aegon. It ended up being Vanilla Dark Beam. But I knew with missiles where it was and with how the checks would progress out, with GFMC becoming so late, that I needed to stay there and either hunt Supers or Screw, and it ended up being Supers. And then with Supers, I knew at that point that Torvis was open with launcher, and then I knew at that point nothing could have been GFMC, and then nothing could have been anything else in Temple Grounds because of no boost, or if it could have been Grand Wind Chamber on the other side. So then I just assumed it was Plane of Dark Worship was launcher. So
okay, we kind of guessed at that, but we wanted to know for sure. We still don't know what even is in there. We thought like there may be some stupid logic where it's like main power bombs show up first and then missile launcher, but
yeah.
Or it could have potentially even been Screw Attack in Pod W to get you into the GFMC loop for a missile launcher and crate.
Yeah, and that was the only risk that I had was power bombs, which I don't even know where those. I forgot to look. Whoops.
We don't know either. I'm watching right now. I'll let you know when I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, literally the only power bomb between the two of you is Hydra Dynamo Station. That's all we saw.
Yeah, and because there was no expansions and I played pretty conservatively early, I decided to take the risk for Torvis right away and for hints right away. And then after seeing that an STK was in GFMC loop, I was like,
Dark
okay.
Visor, Cache A.
Oh.
So that was seeker
Nasty.
locked. Main
Cannonballs
power bombs were in
Reliquary.
Dynamo Works. Dynamo Works had main power bombs. And yeah, missile launchers in Pod W. That checks.
Yep.
Oof.
So boost. So that's what Annihilator was for. That was the only confusing thing in my mind was such an early Annihilator. Grav kind of tipped me off to go lower Torvis immediately rather than clearing the upper Torvis dark loop right away.
Actually, no. The Annihilator was for your dark suit.
Yeah. Because,
no launcher and no screw. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, because Annihilator, and you definitely did get a copy each of beam expansions too. Because I think there was one in Broom Closet, and then there was also another beam tank in
Taz.
tasks.
Yeah.
So one each that could have done it, and then that lets you get the suit, so you can go to Pod W.
Oh, is that bomb jump intermediate to get over the gate to Hive Chamber B? I thought it was beginner.
I
If
believe
that's
it
not
is
the
not.
case,
The bomb jump is intermediate.
That's what I thought.
okay,
The beginner
so-
ways to get to Hive Chamber B are missile launcher, screw attack, or charged annihilator.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
There's
I
also a way with charge beam, but I think that's advanced.
got it. Okay. Yeah, that was the only thing that really kind of was making me wonder the annihilator. But then that's honestly why I went TTS as well. And luckily Boost was there because I think at that point I was Boost in screw go mode, and I was just praying for a hint to bail me out. So.
Well, that certainly worked. That certainly did work in your favor. Because, yeah, you were just literally hinted, oh, Screw Attack is in Boost Guardian. Oh, what do you know? Something else is on Boost Guardian. Might as well go.
Yeah. As soon as I saw the double Dark Arena, I was like, oh, of course. And really, I think Boost was the missing puzzle I needed in my head, but I was really scared about power bombs. So, and I rightfully so. If that you said it was Spider Guardian,
Yeah, it was in Dynamo
or one of the
Works.
tunnel. Yeah.
So, yeah. Which means you would have had to go get Dark Visor and Cache logically to go to Sank.
And you would have had to have found Cobalt to get to those power bombs.
Which I totally wasn't paying attention to where Cobalt was.
Neither was I.
Okay, it's confirmed. This seat sucks.
That's okay. I got your back. It was scouted in Hive Gyro when Marcus was on his way to Quadraxis.
Thank you, Leno.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I was so laser focused on my ammo count because I was like, can I do quad with this so much light ammo? I don't know.
Yeah, in Phase 2, if you're running low on light ammo, it's not necessarily a bad idea to farm some off of the Dark Quads. They have a decent chance of dropping it, even if you don't kill them with Dark Beam.
Oh, I didn't know to do that next time. Because I swore the whole reason why I went to the ammo station was I swore I picked up more light beam ammo expansions, but apparently I didn't. So. And then also, how about the case of the missing power bomb at Grand Wind Chamber? I swore I picked it up.
It's well, it's more like the oh yeah, well no, and then the pirates just didn't give you a drop, and
Yeah, and because that one that I shot by the crate by the ship, I heard the sound, I heard the bzz, so I was like, I'm good. And then I get there and no power bombs, and I'm like, wait, didn't I just pick one up?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was goofy.
So on the note of those power bombs, did you ever consider returning the energy to get a second one?
No, but that's funny.
Yeah, because I think Tumos was the only one. Tumos was the only other powerbomb related hint we had the entire bloody game.
Yeah, and at this point, when I did get that hint, I was like, am I going to have to return the energy just to get PBs? I was like, please, no.
We were thinking the same thing.
That was probably the latest PB expansion I think I've seen, at least in what I've played. There really was nothing anywhere.
Yeah, we were very PB starved today. We got mostly major items and missile tanks. Even energy was pretty starved today.
Yeah. And I kept clearing extra stuff in Aegon as well too. Like checking bioenergy production, checking storage B, and a couple others. So I was like, please just give me a PB. I would really appreciate that right now. But ended up not.
Yeah, besides that mild kerfuffle with the missile launcher logic and having to go all the way down to Lower Torvis for boost, otherwise this seed I would say wasn't actually that complex, except the hints were mostly not that helpful.
Yeah. Except for Screw Attack.
Screw Attack was a good hint. Discovering Light Suit a little early was nice. But yeah, other than that, this seed I feel like was pretty... not the craziest I've seen. I mean, quad required is always nice and spicy, but...
Yeah. Well, and also Echo was early, which was really nice for the combat. I mean, all things considered for a Reed seed, this was very tame. So,
That's true. I would agree to that.
which after Echo Go mode last week, and then Echo on Chica, with one of the Chica keys being in Dark Oasis, I think Reed owed me one. So I think we're even now, Reed.
Ow. My body just ached listening to that.
Yeah, it was a terrible seed.
Ugh. That being said, you are going to go face the winner of Storm versus Arrow Razor. That match is later tonight. So your thoughts on how that plays out?
I think both are really great runners. If I go against Arrow Razor, I think Arrow Razor has shown some really great routing, and of course Storm is was the undefeated in group stage. So, I think I could take a game off Storm, but it's going to be hard earned. So.
Now, that being said, Ralen is going to fight whoever. Ralen's got a lot. Ralen's actually going to have a bit of a break here because Ralen has to wait for the results of Steve versus Rico. Wait. Yeah. Has to read down the results of Steve versus Rico and Nistrata versus Oh, Lord, if I mispronounced this, I'm sorry. Nistrata versus McCollier. Thank you. So, yeah, we have to wait on how those races play out, but Ralen will face whoever wins between the two winners of that race, whoever wins the one following. So, point being, Ralen's got a break.
Yeah, I'm looking at the bracket here. Looks like there is, yeah, like what you're saying, quite a bit of lower games to be played for quite a little bit. So probably a busy week next week too.
Yeah, next week is definitely going to be pretty busy. And we still have 3 matches, one of which today and 2 more tomorrow. So yeah, we've already got 5 matches queued up for the next 24 hours. So yeah, look forward to those, folks.
I'm gonna grab some food and camp out today. Watch some Echoes, I think.
I think I'm going to end up doing the same thing once dinner's ready. Although I got to practice for another race in another game tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn, so...
Oh.
Anything else, Marcus, you want to add about the seed today?
No, I feel like I could have crisped up my movement / mechanics a little bit better. I just felt like I kept 4 out of 5ing myself everywhere. The quad wasn't cooperating. And of course Dark Samus as well. I feel like I had a singular chance and then got centered. I just feel like I lost quite a bit of time to movement and just mechanics in general. So hopefully I can kind of iron those out before the next match, which is going to be pretty hard because those 2 folks are really, really good in their movement and their mechanics as well. So
all right, so at this point, Ralen's just about to go to Sky Temple, so he has elected, I would assume at this point, to just play things out, and he is almost done. He only needs another, 5 minutes. Will say, though, you gave us a nice big wow going to check hints without screw attack.
Oh, yeah. I
didn't know that was standable.
Yeah.
Today I learned.
And I found that in an old 15-year-old video. So shout outs to the old school Echoes folks.
Indeed.
Also, one power bomb for EI3 was also, or EI2 was not very fun.
I can imagine.
But I did get to use Sunburst though. with only the 10 ammo requirement. At least it got used.
I always recommend taking that save there outside of Emperor Ing, because you never know what's going to happen.
I
Yeah,
haven't caught up on the previous matches yet, but I saw there was another match with some Emperor Ing weirdness going on.
Yep. Wasn't quite Emperor Ing jumps out of bounds, but hey.
Okay, that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it was that the Ginger Chris versus who was it? Like in group stage where
Yeah, it was in group stage, and it was definitely one of TGC's races.
I was like, I didn't know, because didn't EI2 or EI3 go completely out of the Aether box?
Yeah, he jumped to the ceiling of the room.
That's amazing.
All right, unfortunately, Ralen's going to have to take a second cycle here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as you deal damage to EI1, it spawns more and more tentacles, which makes getting to the damage phase longer.
One thing you can do is if you if Emperor Ing is on its jump rope in its jump rope animation, after the second hop, you could lay a power bomb, and that might catch a few tentacles in one hit.
Yeah, but in order to do that, you need power bombs, which Ralen's only got one.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some drops off of the inglets if they're nice enough, but that is something you kind of have to rely on RNG for.
And it's really not promising. The inglets, well, he does get one as I'm saying that, the inglets tend to prefer dropping health.
Indeed, yeah, the same drop rules don't apply in on EI2.
That was a nice power bomb, though. 4 tentacles. That is ideal. Just a little high on that. So, like, one thing is, with the hitbox for screw attack, it's actually a lot lower than you'd think.
Yeah, you want to dive just below. You want to go below the kneecaps. Yeah, case in point, right now, Emperor Ing is being a real troll.
And
Yeah,
there is a little risk of killing Emperor Ing while he is doing that laser attack. There is a high chance that if you screw attack into him and actually kill him, the game will crash.
Ralen has to be really careful here. Has bled a lot of HP. That step back basically just saved, just doomed Emperor Ing there.
Yeah, the hitbox for screw attack is a lot wider than you'd think it would be. And thankfully, once you're through Emperor Ing, you get a checkpoint and a full heal.
You know, one thing that's always bothered me, why is the energy controller on the ceiling of Sky Temple Energy Controller? Shouldn't it be on the ceiling? Wouldn't Samus have to spider ball to it? Oh, never mind. That might have been an accidental overdue, yep.
Yeah, 2 lemons instead of 1.
Now, intentionally soaking up a big missile is actually not a bad thing because if you do flinch, you are immune to flinching again for a short time. So it kind of can prevent you from flinching from flinching during the spread phase.
Nice super missile. Unfortunately, that once Samus has made the transition to DS4, the amount of damage she can take when she drops back down is gated. The idea is to always force the player to kill her while she's in the air, so the cutscene makes sense.
Yeah, normally it's capped at 60. Which is especially convenient if you have double damage, because then that's just one tickle with Dark Beam. And after her health reaches a certain threshold, like if she gets hit again, she won't come back down.
Yeah, unfortunately that threshold is a lot lower than you'd think it'd be. That threshold is basically once she's once she cannot be killed by another shot, essentially. Ugh, words.
Also, I apparently healed her too when she was falling down, shooting her while she was falling down with the phase on.
Yeah, if you hit a phase on shot while she is lowering her shield, health goes up.
All right, and Ralen finishes with a 2:05:57,
which is, in general, a fantastic time.
Yeah, given this seed was logically a complete train wreck, with main power bombs now being confirmed to be in Sank.
Yeah, this could easily have been because you would have had to have chased down the full tracker.
Which includes cache, and then you got to go find Cobalt Translator for main power bombs, and yeah, no, I don't think anybody wanted to do that today.
Yep.
I certainly would not have wanted to see that. That all being said, we will see if Ralen wishes to join us for an interview.
Welcome, Ralen.
GG.
GG. So your thoughts on the seed?
I mean, given that this was supposed to be a read seed, it was rather tame, I'd say.
Yeah, there were a couple of logic kerfuffles, like Plane of Dark Worship had your missile launcher, which means all that
Who
early
needs
stuff.
that?
Yeah, exactly. Which means logically you were expected to get all your beams, and then go get Dark Suit off DMT, and then go all the way back to Plane of Dark Worship for missiles. It's a good thing you didn't have main launchers required, because main power bombs were in Sank.
Well,
on Spider Guardian or in Dynamo Works. So you're that Hydro Dynamo Station power bomb you got basically carried you the whole game.
Yeah.
And that is the only power bomb expansion that we saw. The only one we know about is the one on Tumos.
I'm pretty sure Grand Wind Chamber had another.
Okay. We didn't see Wind Chamber at the time.
Yeah, when I went for GFMC, I was only on one power bomb, and I needed one for the next door. So, since I knew I'd lost at that point, and if the Arrow Trooper didn't drop one, I probably would have tried for the screw attack method to get that one instead of trying to farm the other one. But yeah, I think that was the only other power bomb expansion I saw.
Yeah. So between the two of you, Markers did go out of bounds in Abandoned Base to get hints early without Seeker missiles. So because of that, as soon as Markers saw the screw attack and something else in Boost Guardian area hint, essentially just beeline for that, and that was their go mode.
Yeah, having that knowledge meant that there was a lot of checks in Torvis that Marker was able to skip that you had to do.
I mean, even with that info, or I wouldn't have gotten that info without Screw Tech anyway, so yeah, that would have not happened. And I mean, overall, I'm somewhat happy with what I did. Like, the only thing that I was not really happy about and regretted later was going for early Dark Torvis first time without anything. Like, I was tempted to just go straight down to lower Torvis, and it would have paid off, but
Yeah, that would have
that
given
lost
you a
me
lot
quite
of
a bit time.
information very quickly had you done light lower Torvis first.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that boost ball?
Like, I had a screw attack in by that point anyway, and given that there were no main power bombs in sight, and what I could do was getting kinda limited, like, I wasn't really too surprised. Like, if that would have been Cannonball, that would have, like, not changed a thing, because, like, at that point I would have been in Go Mode 2 with what was likely on Boost Guardian. Yeah. It came just like when my route was set to what I go do next, pretty much, anyway.
Did you do sand processing without boost?
No.
I gotcha. Okay.
So, I mean, I had a reasonable route to that after I had to go back down again for Under Temple for the key, which I could have gotten the first time I was down there, but I thought, nah, that's not gonna be anything, right? And,
Oh yeah, I was gonna get Under Temple 2 the first time down there before Screw Attack, but then I was like, what if it's on the wall? So that would have been
Yeah.
kind of rough.
I mean, at that point, I didn't even know about Screw Attack, so I just wanted to peek the wall and skip the fight, get the 2 quick items down there with storage and temple access, then go back out. But yeah, then having to go back down, that cost quite a bit of time. But yeah, I mean, from there, I was just going into tank, do quad, go to combat mastery, go out to sand processing, warp back, and then get the GFMC key to finish. So that really didn't lose too much time to go out of the way back there. Yes. Was a bit weird with the power bomb management since I needed to get one more to break the tube to get out. But I mean, the quads had some, so it was okay.
All right. Well, not much else. Not much else I have to add for today. Again, GG's to the both of you. Like I said, Markers, you're going to face whoever wins between Arrow Razor and Storm. And Ralen, you're on a break for a couple of rounds, actually. You're waiting on 2 previous rounds to play out before lower brackets.
Although I'm pretty sure at least the first round of that should happen today.
Yeah,
or at least tomorrow.
Yeah, one of those two, both of those matches, the first of those matches should be done by tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
And Leno, it looks like I signed up to calm with you for Storm versus Arrow. I was gonna watch it anyways, so we'll be calming that one.
Oh heck yeah!
All right. Wonderful. So, with that being said, anything else, runners, you want to add before we close out tonight?
No, GG's, and thank you for calming. Thank for tracking. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, then. We'll remind you folks that we have Elias Thompson versus Stashifer on SpeedGaming 4 right now. So keep an eye out for that. Storm versus Arrow Razor at 6 o'clock, so in just under 2 hours. And then Steve versus Rico at 8 Eastern time. So yeah, plenty of rando still to come tonight. Rico, thank you so much for joining me in the booth this evening.
It was a blast. This was a seed.
Indeed. And again, thank you to our runners, Markers, Mask, and Ralen Tankir for their putting on a great show. Thank you to Leno for keeping the hint sheet up to date and keeping us all up to tabs on our items. Thank you for watching, folks. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next mission.
See you next mission.